Outside is because we want to receive firsthand, personally, all of the donations and relief items you're sending through for us to carry on to our brothers and sisters who have been affected by the Akosombo Dam spillage. Yesterday we were outside and you came in massively with trucks of water, food items, clothes, and so on. Today we're outside, and as early as 6 a.m. there were a few philanthropists outside here bringing us bags of clothes and food, sardine, water, and more. If you're watching us from home, you haven't left yet, please pick up a bag from your home and bring to us. If it's a cooking pot, we'll be happy to collect it. A coal pot, we'll be happy to collect it. Students' mattress, blankets, mosquito nets, anything that you can afford to part with to help affected victims of the flood. We'll be too happy to receive and to deliver on your behalf. This morning, however, as Roland has stepped away for a moment, he'll be back after a big issue, and then we'll receive more of you live on air. So when you come in, you'll be live on television for the world to know the good work you're doing, and also encourage other people to come through. Now, we're going to be talking to some of our favorite gentlemen who often come into the studios for big issue. We have already seated a full house, Pius Enam Hajide, CEO of the National Youth Authority. Pius, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
You're welcome to the show. Good to see you outside.
Thank you.
You look so much better outside.
It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a nice setup. I commend you.
It's a nice setup, yeah. The sunlight is doing all of us a lot of good. Also, we have Bernard Mona, former chairman of the People's National Convention. Bernard, how'd you do?
How do you do?
Great to have you.
Good to see you.
Welcome to the show.
You are always smiling.
Yes, I am. We are grateful to God for life. And then we have Malik Basintali, Deputy Communications Officer, NDC. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Why is it that my greetings was generalized? I mean, after my introduction, you said, gentlemen, how are you? I mean, if you ask me
Malik, how are you?
Like you did to Pius.
Malik,
tell me
how
I
are
look
you?
better outside too.
How are you? Yeah, you look very nice outside. I think we all look nice outside. The sun is good for us.
You told only Pius, you didn't tell Bernard, you didn't tell myself.
Malik, what are you doing?
Even if you skip Bernard, at least tell me. Anyway, good morning.
Malik,
and it's
you
good
look
to
very
be here.
nice. It's great to have you.
Great. Thanks.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So today we're going to be talking about two things. We'll very briefly talk about Professor Stephen Adai's government corruption allegations and the IOCO investigations and all of the news and updates that are coming from there. If you recall, about 4 days ago, Professor Stephen Adai, in an exclusive interview with TV3, made an allegation, corruption allegation, about happenings in the Roads and Transport Ministry. Also, more importantly, I believe this morning, we're going to be talking about increasing relief support. All of us here on this table have been to various of the relief and the various camps in the Volta region and other regions that have been very badly affected by the Akosombo Dam spillage. We'll share some of our personal experiences as well as what we think, in our opinion, are the things that we can do as a nation and as individuals to help our brothers and sisters who have been displaced. So first, I'd like us to take a look at just a small bite from that interview with Professor Stephen Adai.
The former rector of GIMPA, Professor Stephen Adai, alleged the high levels of corruption by appointees of the current administration.
This road contract will be given to you, provided you put 1 million upfront, or not that when you get your money. Then, and this is what Akufo-Addo must be thinking about, and if he knows about it, must be ashamed of. That now his people demand from you a certain amount before you be considered for the job. Why? Because then when they get it, whether the government pays you or not, they have gotten their money. As if people are in a hurry to loot the country before the end of Akufo-Addo's term.
He acknowledged the possibility of a rebound, but also warned that the journey would be challenging.
One of the greatest disappointments of Nana Akufo-Addo's regime is that, honestly, he raised the hope of Ghanaians. Ghanaians expected that we had gotten the leader with a vision, with the charisma, with the determination. And it seems if he doesn't redeem himself in the next 14 months, he will go down in history of one of the most disappointing leaders. And what the corruption, the arrogance, they think that Ghana is for them, and that, without them, Ghana would not be there. Even some of them thinking that they should tell us who should be our next president. God forbid.
He questioned government reluctance to address the issue of brain drain, which he believes has led to a crisis in the health and financial sectors.
The nurses and the teachers, who constituted about 75% of public service, will go for loans. And because they were public servants, it was assured. Now they are run away and they can't pay. So have to chase them to London, to America, and that. So the small banks, I know one which has about 7 million Ghana cedis, they are chasing, they have to write off.
He anticipates that citizens will hold leaders accountable to promote growth and development.
So that was a video, a small bite from an interview by TV3, exclusive interview with Professor Stephen Adai, where he made these allegations. The Economic and Organized Crimes Office has since said that it's set to investigate these corruption allegations into the award of contracts at the Roads Ministry. So we're going to start with that, gentlemen, very briefly, like we all promised each other, and then we'll go, you and I, all of us.
I was not part of
and then we will go into the matter of the day, which I believe is a big matter of national concern now, relief items for our brothers and sisters in the very badly hit areas. So I think I'll start with you, Malik. You've seen this interview?
I have.
Use your microphone, yes.
I mean, I'm so used to
I know.
the mic. I have. And very, very, very unfortunate revelations there. First, it's important to state who Professor Adai is. Prof, as a statesman, regardless whatever his views may be, has served even as rector of GEMPA, he served as an appointee of this government, he served on the Finance Advisory Board, he served as a chairman of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Yeah. And I remember the day he was sworn into office, his standards were not left out, his integrity and moral values were stated explicitly. And I think that, in all of this, we must appreciate that and know the point to which it comes from. It's also important that we avert our minds to the fact that whoever has resigned from this current administration have said similar things, from Martin Amidu to Prof. Frimpong Boateng to, Prof. Adai, and many other people have repeatedly stated concerns of corruption, have repeatedly stated concerns of arrogance of power, have repeatedly stated concerns of lack of vision and then incompetence on the side of this administration. If you listened, and I'm glad that this expose, in fact, this discussion was conducted by this media house. And so to quote verbatim, Prof made assertions to the fact that President Akufo-Addo lacks charisma of a leader, he lacks vision of a leader, and there is no direction to this country. And for the next 14 months or so, if he does not redeem his image in this country, he will go down as the worst president ever in the Republic of Ghana. It's also important that we state the cases he has cited of corrupt practices. And you see, I feel sad that every now and then there are traces of similar instances of corrupt discussions unraveled by people who leave this particular administration, from investigative pieces to former appointees and what have you, if you remember. And I want us to avert our minds so that we can have some, inductive reasoning with regards to this discussion. When Nyantechi's expose was brought forth, Nyantechi, who was a very good friend to Mr. Akufo-Addo, stated clearly on tape to the people he was cornered that bring 2 million, bring $1 million, and we get all the contracts in this country. In fact, if we give President Akufo-Addo 3 million, he will be in my pocket, and all road contracts will be awarded to us. That was Nyantechi's piece. Till date, no decision has been taken, no finality has been made in that particular matter. Number two was Alistair Matthias, a gold mafia. In fact, a criminal so long as the standards of Africa are concerned, stated in real terms that President Akufo-Addo, should he be given 200,000, 300,000, that all road contracts will be given to you. Mind you, they spoke about road contracts, they spoke about 1 million, and they spoke about President Akufo-Addo. And he stated that in real terms. The presidency promised to sue him. Till date, now, we haven't heard of a single writ filed against Alistair Matthias. Because whatever he was saying there was true and was emphatic. He stated in real terms. In fact, your media house was threatened. Then finally, we now hear Prof. Adair also repeating what we've been hearing over time. And sadly, he stated that President Akufo-Addo was aware of it and is so disappointed that he does nothing about it. You see, the rate and speed at which corruption is thinking at the presidency, around the presidency, especially when it's got to do with contracts, it's embarrassing. And I think that as a people and as a youth coming up, the earlier we condemn all the distasteful acts of the presidency, the better for all of us. Because mind you, there are many businessmen today who, as a result of government contracts, employ many youth of this country. There are many businessmen today people whose livelihoods depends on the contracts they make. And now, if sadly, you have to cough out about 1 million before you get a contract, I feel that the country is being ditched in tatters. And if you listen to Prof. Adair, he made emphasis to the part that they have finished eating all the meat and they want to clear their bones before they leave office. He says they are soaked in corrupt practices as if there is no tomorrow, as if they don't care about this nation, as if they don't care whether there are people still living in this country or not. And the man listening to him, look, I could feel that he had to resign. Remember that when he resigned from the advisory board, he stated that he was resigning for personal reasons and that at the right time he will be speaking. Little did we know that the man resigned simply because there was corruption choking. If you remember, similarly, when Martin Amido resigned, in fact, he spoke about same corrupt practices at the presidency to the extent that for the first time,
we only hear about these things after they resign.
Yeah, it is important. It is only a crocodile that will come out from water and tell you how a fish looks like.
Yes, but while he was in the water, he couldn't do or say anything.
Of course.
And what took him so long?
Because whilst he was in the water, he was being classified as an aquatic animal too. So once he's out of the water, he has to tell us what indeed is beneath the water and why we should never trust those people in that particular water. And I think that is just fair. Martin Amido, for the first time in the Republic, named the president as the mother serpent of all snakes. He said he was the mother serpent of corruption in this country. And now you and I must be worried because many of these discussions usually take place on your media outlet. And you listen to the people verbatim. Frimpong Boateng's expose was made on your media outlet. Prof. Adair, again, was interviewed and stated face to face. And I've said that these are not, common people, I beg your pardon, out there who are making these allegations. These are distinguished statesmen, and I think that it should be a matter of concern to every Ghanaian that on repeated basis, President Akufo-Addo's name, if it is not being mentioned in galamsey terms, it is being mentioned in contracts where you have to pay bundles. And we have caught him. In fact, we've seen it on tape, where $40,000 was even taken in a brown envelope with his two hands.
At least in this particular case, we know it remains an allegation.
From a statesman.
Yeah, it remains an allegation.
And
EOCO is set to investigate these allegations. And then we will know for sure exactly what happened and whether these allegations can be substantiated.
I know many, I'll just land on that. I know many allegations, many investigative pieces have gone, unseen. There are even reports of corrupt practices that today you and I never had the opportunity of scrutinizing. Even though we may not have full confidence in this particular investigative piece, as one, they will not cooperate, and President Akufo-Addo, as usual, who is the chief murder clearing agent, will clear them. We will get to the bottom of it, and we wish to remind them that crime has no expiry date in this country. We will definitely get to the bottom of it.
Well, now, good morning to you and my colleagues and our cherished viewers. I'd like to begin by commending TV3 for your efforts to collaborate with the state in its attempt to mitigate the sufferings of our brothers and sisters affected by the spillage of the VRE Dam. The impacts are dire. I'm aware that in the next session of the conversation, we'll be looking at that in greater detail. And it is for that reason that you have brought us outside of the studio. Ordinarily, we would have been in the studios. And I think that I would want to commend you greatly. And I'd rather that we focus our attention on the issues that matter to the good people of our country. And I have monitored New Day. My view is that New Day is elevated beyond a mere political platform where empty rhetorics and political slogans and chants that are aimed at exciting probably our base and exciting ourselves are shouted. And I also thought that you brought up a very, very important topic for conversation. Regrettably and unfortunately, but akin of my brother Basintali, he decides to turn it into a political rally and goes on ranting and mentioning things that are not even related to the matter at issue. First of all, let me state that it is important that when allegations are made, and the word is allegations, it is important that steps are taken to thoroughly investigate those allegations. This is not the first time we are seeing something like this. I remember in the case when the former president, John Dramani Mahama, was accused of the Ford scandal by a journalist who did excellent work at the time, Manasseh Azuri. It was supposed to have been properly investigated by the relevant agencies of state. Again, even when allegations were made of that same man, the former President Mahama, his involvement in the unfortunate demise of the former president, he himself complains to the relevant authorities of state to get the matter interrogated.
So your
I can
point
give
is,
you a long list. Now, the same leverage that you gave to Basintali, I will pray you to give me that. I watched you listen in absolute quiet when he went on and on. I will expect that the same privileges are accorded to me as well.
I'm
So
only
I'm
asking
saying that,
what your point is.
Well, if you listen to me, you understand my point. And I'm saying that when allegations are made, whether without basis, whether unfounded, the thing to do is to have not politicians, not babies with sharp teeth, but the agencies of state with the competencies and the resources to interrogate the matter. Have them look at it. And I'm saying that for the record, in this instant matter, this is an allegation that has been made by somebody who is being extolled. I know Professor Adai, former rector of GIMPA, very respectable person. But I've listened to him, and what I see is sour grapes. And that is why it was important, the question you asked. Why now? Why after the resignation? At the time you had access, you were no mean a person than the chairman of the GRA governing board. You had direct access to His Excellency the President. You had direct access to the ministers responsible. And it was important that if you noticed that something was going wrong, you talked about it. And it's the same can be said, Professor Frimpong Boateng. And I do not think that we want to build a country where we feed on the sentiments of bitter people, people with sour grapes, people who think that they cannot make way for others. This is a country of 31 million people. There are many other persons who are equally as qualified as Professor Adai and Professor Frimpong Boateng and the likes, who probably may even be more qualified, and the sense of entitlement that some feel they have, that when they are asked to make way for others, then they get bitter and they start cooking up and making up stories that clearly to any level-headed human being does not even make any sense. And I commend the Ministry of Roads and Transport or Highways that they have taken the steps to have these matters properly interrogated. When in the case of Professor Frimpong Boateng, that Basintali, the NDC Basintali, was clearly excited about, when he was asked to assist in police investigations so that evidence can be unraveled, His comments were that he is not an investigator, that the forests are there, go into the forests. But you were the one who was making the allegation. And any person who is interested in justice knows that he who alleges must prove. You have the evidence, you bring it out. You don't now recoil and say that you are not a police officer and that the forests are there, you can go into the forest. Again, I have listened to Preform Boateng. I don't see any substantial, even premier face has been made. You say that when the matter of when before road contract, the contracts are given, people pay $1 million. Who paid $1 million to whom? I think that you should be able to have these kinds of answers to give to us. But in any case, if it was about allegations, the former president, Jerry John Rawlings, what did he say about some of the appointees of the NDC at the time? That they counted millions of dollars over the night to buy houses. That is the former president, the founder of the NDC, accusing operatives of the NDC. Are we supposed to take it line, seek, and hookah without any investigations? When he said that $3 million and over were given by relatively young people to individuals in cash, and those amounts were counted over the night. Are we supposed to take them line, hook, and sinker? When Mr. Mahama was accused in the Airbus scandal that he took monies and that there were allegations that he as vice president was being investigated by his president, Professor Mills, very shortly before the unfortunate death, are we supposed to believe it line, hook, and sinker? I believe that we ought to interrogate those matters. We ought to investigate them. But if the suggestion from Basintali is that once it is said, let us believe it, then he should be the first person telling us that Mr. John Dramani Mahama is a criminal because allegations have been made. That is the position that Basintali is now advocating for on this platform, and I disagree. And so must it be for everybody. Baseless allegations have been made. But the good thing about His Excellency Akufo-Addo is that he's not fighting corruption from the studios with microphones shouting slogans. So he's putting monies, he's putting resources in the anti-graft agencies. Check the number of the budget allocations. In fact, the office of the special prosecutor was brought by him, and he appointed a known NDC, somebody who rose to the level of running mate of the NDC as special prosecutor. This cannot be somebody who is interested in corruption. How would you do that? Why will I be corrupt and appoint Basintali to come and watch over corruption? I should be crazy. But the only reason why I would do that is that I am genuinely at heart committed to fighting corruption. And that is Akufo-Addo for you. Every little investigation, whether pointless, whether baseless, Akufo-Addo will make sure that it is properly investigated. But why do you blame him if you guys run around and make baseless allegations and the presidents have them investigated and there is no merit in it? Then you turn around to say he's clearing agent. What should he do? Because of your baseless accusations, he should send people to jail? Evidence is the name of the game. If you sit in the comfort of your house or on TV and out of just political expediency, you shout, okay, now he's a criminal, so because of that, now should hang. Who does that? What civilized, decent country will proceed along those lines? That is not what we signed for when we adopted the 1992 Constitution. So please, I believe that Professor Adai's allegations, I don't see any merit in it. They are mere allegations. They have to be investigated. Unlike the NDC, where judges make proclamations that this is a group that creates, that loots and shares. This is a statement of a judge in court. So it is not a mere allegation. The fallout of the Airbus scandal.
So some allegations are mere allegations and others are
absolutely, not. That you cannot
I think
equate.
From the arguments that you have made, all allegations are mere allegations.
But the great loot and share was not an allegation. It's a judgment of a judge sitting in court.
That cannot be a judgment.
It is. I've read the judgment. It's in the judgment of a judge.
A statement
of a judge in court, presiding, giving judgment, giving a ruling.
There is the ruling,
yes,
and then there are other statements that are made.
It is a part of the ruling. So that is it. In any case,
you know what?
The Airbus scandal,
because we agreed that we're not going to go on.
But I warned you, the Airbus scandal, again, these are proclamations by a competent court of jurisdiction.
Because we agreed that we will not spend too much time.
By Basintali.
Because we agreed that we will not spend too much time on this topic. Yes, you did. We agree that we'll not spend too much time on it. So we are going to reduce.
What sense of time do you have?
We're going to reduce the back and forth, and then just each of us have the opportunity to speak once, and we'll move on.
Run this show. Take a grip of yourself. You don't run this show.
Bernard has the floor now.
Run this show.
Let's listen to Bernard. And after Bernard has spoken, we'll move on to the other matter. Because together we agreed that we'll keep it short. All right. Bernard, let's listen to you.
You don't run this show.
You can't make these allegations.
Bernard, let's listen to you. All right, Pius, it's all right. It's okay. Malik, I will take your microphone. All right. Bernard, let's go.
I'll respond to them.
First,
You can't run your mouth this way and allow to go free.
first,
Use this one.
Use mine.
let me state unequivocally. But I'm very surprised at the turn of events from the ministry or the Minister for Roads. Somewhere on the 22nd, 23rd of August to 2023, this same minister had the capacity to tell the whole world that there are thieves and corrupt people within his ministry. I'm sure you remember the story. Now, I'm sure you remember the story that the Minister for Roads is on record on the 22nd, 23rd of August 2023 to have pronounced that there are thieves and corrupt people in his ministry. This is the minister. I didn't make those pronouncements. And at that time, my call was that if the minister is aware, and by the way, he is a lawyer, that there are thieves and corrupt people within his ministry, it means that the minister has incontrovertible evidence to come to that conclusion. And so the minister simply, at the time, needed to submit the evidence of those thieves, those corrupt officials within the ministry, to the appropriate investigating authorities to deal with the matter. So if Professor Stephen Adey comes out to say that road contracts are being awarded and in some instances you pay over $1 million, has he said anything different from what the minister himself had said? He has not. So where is this rush trying to say that the ministry has run to Iyoko on the pronouncement of Stephen Adey? Where is it coming from? It's evident that our minister simply does not understand the time in which we are. Listen. Listen. So many things have happened in this country. You remember the same Manasseh Azuri that was like in the fourth scandal by our boss, because he's the head of youth in this country. I'm saying that cited by you. You cited it. When I'm talking, listen.
Let's come back to
the fourth scandal that was cited by him. The story was done by Manasseh Azuri. Manasseh Azuri lived in this country peacefully.
No, that's not correct.
Can I make my submission? I was here. I was here when you were. He lived in this country peacefully. No institution whatsoever went after him. The same Manasseh Azuri spoke about the militia in the castle and told us about what their modus operandi was. At the time the president was seen talking about vigilante groups, we had vigilante within the presidency, right? Manasseh Azuri reported. Manasseh Azuri had to flee this country. The national security minister, himself knowing the danger, decided that they would give him police and security to protect him.
Oh, I see.
Listen, and Manasseh said,
I see.
that was even to expose him more, because as a journalist, he didn't need that kind of thing to be able to do his job. What was actually happening was that now it means that anywhere he's going, he can actually be noted, because the police sent somebody to come and be protecting him, which he did not like. Wow. It took the West Media Foundation for West Africa to take Manasseh Azure out of Ghana so that he can have his life. Otherwise, his life was under threat. There are many other journalists whose lives have come under threat. Some have died in the course of this within the same republic. Pius, not to put you on the spot, but there are several scandals that Mr. President has not, or in his quest, has quickly run to come and say that investigations have been done. You recall the issue surrounding the Ministry of Youth and Sports when Pius was Deputy Minister, surrounding the Australia visa scandal. Pius, my brother, was put on the spot, and he was suspended. Soon after the suspension, the President said that the investigation says that Pius is clean. Can I make the point, young man? No. Right, soon after that, they said Pius was cleared. I have no difficulty with Pius being cleared. But the scandal has not ceased to have occurred. That scandal that brought many people...
Pius, please keep quiet and
right, that embroiled this nation in such a monumental shame, an international and diplomatic shame. That scandal has not been cleared. Right? We took several people to Australia that were not qualified to be there in the name of sports. At the end of the day, nobody, Pius has been cleared. No, the minister has not been brought into book. The crime continues to linger, yet the culprits are not to be found. Do you understand? Look, there was the issue of Kroll and Associates involving the president's senior advisor or presidential advisor, who was one time senior minister. Kroll and Associates became an issue, leading to the Auditor General then, Dom Levo, asking Osafo Maafo to refund or to be surcharged, that returned the money for no work done. At the end of the day, Dom Levo had to suffer his job for Osafo Maafo to stay and for the crime to be cleared by the new Auditor General that there was no crime committed. These and many others point to the fact that, look, anytime these investigations are done, everybody watches it. Mr. President has simply become a house of clearing every appointee of his, because in doing the right thing, these appointees, in the view of the president, will go to undermine his government. What Stephen Adai said is nothing less than what the minister himself said. At the time the minister said, he failed to go to Uyoko. He failed to call in the appropriate investigative authorities to come and deal with the work. Look, beyond just the award of contract is the payment of contracts. How are payments done? Have you not heard the cries of many contractors that they have finished their jobs, and what they have asked them to do is that they tell you to go to a certain bank. We, the ministry, cannot pay you. But when you go to the bank can pay you, and we later pay the bank. Right? Governments owe you. Government directs you to go to a certain bank. What interest does the government have? That you go to the bank, the government then pays the bank, for the bank now to discount. You go to discount your contract certificate before you are paid. How is that done? So it is not just the case of the award, but also the modus operandi of the payment. That you know that. You know that. It is worse than corruption.
Please refrain.
It is worse than corruption because it is the government now that has officialized corruption, because they now go to the bank to go and take their cut. So they will not take the cut from the contractor. When you go there, you go and you have to discount because the full value. Will you stop this?
No, Pius, allow him to land. You made a lot of statements which required interjections, Pius, but nobody interjected. So,
okay.
So you be quiet.
Pius, you are no longer our boss on the studio. I think I over-respected you by saying that you are the boss of youth. Even if it's for
that's not a fair statement to make. But Bernard, you go on. His microphone is off.
So
evidently,
look, the magnitude of corruption in this government, the magnitude of thievery, even as proven by the minister himself in a statement of August 23rd, 24th, it's evident that look, the thievery within this government is legendary. And so when Professor Stephen Adai comes to talk about it, and it's only citing the road ministry, there are many other ministries that if we decided to go into, when contractors are selected, we complete your job,
Bernard,
and you select who should be paid and who should not be paid.
Bernard,
that itself is thievery.
Iyoko is set to investigate this matter. Are you saying that it is not enough that Iyoko is going to investigate this matter? What would you rather the government do right now?
Well, I have told you that the minister said officials in his ministry are thieves. Are you not aware the minister said so?
You have said he said that in
Are you
August.
not aware the minister said?
You have said he said that in
No,
August.
are you not aware?
But-
TV3
but
was the one
but I'm
that
asking
publicized
you
this
more
widely.
Importantly, the reason we are having this conversation is that after the
And so,
allegations were made, Iyoko
Stephen
is set to
Adai has made, and
investigate
I'm very happy that Professor Stephen Adai will go to Iyoko to go and
answer questions.
and answer the questions,
Or assist
and
investigations.
probably even add more. I wish that the Iyoko investigations would have been made public, so that we will see the public investigations and pronouncement. There are contractors that will be willing to testify, to indicate how they got their contracts, how when they completed their contract, they were asked to go to certain banks, and then they went, and then their contract certificates were undervalued.
Let's change your microphone. With that one that just came. Yes. Pius didn't do anything to the microphone. So you think that this is a step in the right direction or not?
It is probably too late, but it is right that we start these things, because the number of thieves within the ministry, the number of thieves within this government, you cannot count them.
These are allegations.
These are not allegations.
These are allegations.
A minister for roads said that there are thieves in his
These
ministry.
are allegations.
Should I send you the story?
You know what? Because we agreed.
We must have at least
I mean,
2 minutes response.
No,
It's important.
unfortunately, no.
Please, it's very
Unfortunately,
important that we address.
very
Why are you
unfortunately.
jittery? Why are you jittery?
Very unfortunately,
Producer.
we
You
cannot
speak
do
and you don't want people to talk.
I
Why?
think in all fairness, we'll continue
Just
this
2
conversation
minutes.
another day.
Oh,
because we have
now then,
exactly 13 minutes
No,
to
I
wrap up this
spoke
segment.
I spoke for just 5
And
minutes, spoke for 10
we haven't
minutes.
spoken
I just
about
need 2 minutes.
our
2 minutes to
humanitarian
respond.
crisis, which is on
We
our
We will
hands.
speak about that. That's
So,
important.
NDC producer.
I just want 2
Malik,
minutes.
I know
2
how you
minutes.
feel. I know how you feel.
No, I don't. No, no,
I know
no.
how you feel.
He's jittery. He
But-
doesn't want me to respond.
No, I don't
But I just
think
need
he's
2
jittery.
minutes. I
He's
beg
not
you.
jittery.
Just
But
2
no,
minutes.
Malik, if I give you 2 minutes, that's 2 minutes
I'll
for
address
everyone.
one situation.
No,
Just
no,
one situation.
we can't do that.
The NDC will produce the show
Let us
today.
talk about our humanitarian
He
crisis.
doesn't want us to speak about it.
I
Then you
know.
start.
Let's talk about our humanitarian crisis. You have all been there. I think, Bernard, I saw your
we've not
videos
been
go
fair
out
in this
first
discussion.
about being there. So you were the first to visit. Which of the
He's
areas
happy.
have you
He's
visited?
happy that I didn't respond. He's happy.
It's
What is
okay.
happy? Happy
It's
about
okay.
what?
You've made him happy. You've made
You
his
spoke
day.
for
Bernard,
long and you
He's happy I didn't
Young
respond to the
men.
reckless
Young men.
comments he
Happy
made.
about
It's okay,
Young
it's
men.
okay, Malik. I understand
When your
you.
elder is
But
talking-
I understand
When your
you,
elder
Malik.
is
I
talking,
understand.
you people
Chief,
must
But
talk.
let's talk about
Chief, talk.
our brothers
What-
and sisters who have
happy
been
about
badly
what?
affected by the. All right, Pius, it's okay. Bernard, where did you visit?
He's escaped narrowly.
We visited.
So he's happy.
We visited. Take note that I didn't say I visited. We visited because it was the Arise Ghana
Arise Ghana.
and
movement.
Accra FM that chose to visit on Sunday. And on Sunday, we were fortunate to meet the coordinating team of the three
Battle.
three tongues in Sugakope at the assembly.
Okay.
There were 13 chiefs there. There were also the 3 MPs and the 3 DCEs
Okay.
that had met to review how far they have come with the situation in the Tong areas. So you had South Tong, North Tong, and Central Tong represented. And so we met with them. From Sugakope, we moved to New Abakpa, where the entire Abadwe island, the entire residents in that island had to come to New Abadwe, New Bakpa, to come and probably find shelter. It is called New Bakpa because the original Bakpa 60 years ago, 1963, was flooded. by this same Akosombo Dam. Then we moved to Adidome, at the Adidome Agric Institute, where it has now become a refugee camp for citizens of Ghana who have been washed away by the water.
It's a displaced people's camp.
Well, you choose it because the circumstances they find themselves is worse than people who are fleeing war. And I can tell you this, some people had only their clothes. Some women had only their clothes on. That is the only property they have. I'm not sure that refugees find themselves in that situation. I'm talking about what I've experienced. Then, of course, we moved to the islands. We did not just stay within the landed areas. We took the trouble and the risk to sit in those wooden boats to go into the 13 islands in Mafi Devime. And these are new islands. They are artificial islands. The old islands have all been swept away. And so in Mafi Devime, if they show the video, you will see that as we were in a boat crossing, we were actually on a tarred road. A tarred road has now, you cannot use vehicles. That is how the whole communities have been taken over. People's houses were completely submerged. Nothing, no life. And relief items cannot even cross to them. Right? The situation is such nasty, such terrible and horrific that you saw people who for 2 days, kids had not eaten. In some of the instances, when we took some of our cereals and managed to cross with them, and the kids were crying, instantly, we had to just mix it with water for the kids to eat in New Bapa. That is how terrible the situation is. Given these conditions, that we don't have sufficient boats to even carry relief items to them, the Ghana Navy and the Ghana Armed Forces combined have delivered only 8 boats. It would have been appropriate to declare a state of emergency so that other countries like Togo, like Cote d'Ivoire that are nearby can easily send in boats to come and assist so that we can help in the full distribution of these things. Government is failing. See, I say that it seems that President Akufo-Addo is deliberately ensuring that the people go through this trauma.
Sorry?
President Akufo-Addo is deliberately ensuring that the people go through this trauma.
That's an unfair comment.
I have not come here to speak fairness to you. I'm come here to speak truth.
On what basis are you saying this?
Politics is for the good. You are in that office as National Youth, Chief Executive of the National Youth Authority because of politics.
Don't respond to bias.
And so if politics were not good, but I'm saying that partisanship.
Please stop speaking.
What President Akufo-Addo is doing is not politics, it's partisanship. President Akufo-Addo has moved beyond politics and has gone to deep partisanship. Because see, if you listen to even the pronouncement of the president when he visited, it will tell you that the president in this time of crisis, calamity, of significant proportion, was talking about you don't vote for me and my party, but I know that in future you vote for me. When people are in distress, you are thinking about a future vote. You should be worried about the pronouncement of the president. So if there is anything partisan, not political, you should be telling President Akufo-Addo to desist from such pronouncement, particularly in times of crisis like this.
But don't you think we should also desist from pronouncements?
No, I have not said anything. I'm saying that the actions of government, listen to me, and probably because you have not visited these type of areas.
Me?
No, because if you go to places,
I've been there 3 times.
Were you able to carry food to the Italy?
I was in my person's Kizito camp for 2 days.
That was the camp. I'm saying that was the camp.
I've been to these areas. I visited these areas and have sent a lot of relief items personally to them.
Don't forget that I am the first to speak on this matter. And I will do to you what you are doing.
We see that some kind people are bringing
I have seen that and I'm very elated about it.
So you can also bring yours if you're watching us live on television. We're very grateful.
Listen.
Bernard, I'm hoping that this conversation will help our viewers realize the need
precisely what I want to
continue
do.
donate.
Precisely what I
So
want to
let's
do.
not make it political or partisan.
I am political.
Yes,
I
but
am not
let's not
partisan.
make this conversation
I
a
am
partisan
political,
one.
but I am not partisan.
Okay.
Unlike President Akufo-Addo, who has been partisan. This matter is a political matter because politics is supposed to deliver good to our society. Anything that is contrary to that is not politics, it's something else. And so to the extent that the VRA could not have taken a decision to spill the water without informing the president and the national security, and they knew, as VRA itself has come to say, that they knew the volumes of water to be spilled, and they knew exactly the consequence of that action.
Yeah.
And the VRA started telling people that evacuate to higher grounds. If I have my only house, I have no other place, and you come and tell me that you are going to cause havoc to me, what do you need to do? You need... This guy...
I don't understand Pius's behavior this morning. Is this from passing comments when other people are talking? Because when you are talking, we accord you the same respect. So just does this from passing comments? Okay. All right.
Well,
Bernard.
he is a Voltairean. And I'm sure that the people of Volta region who are afflicted and are in that difficulty will know that for partisanship, Pius doesn't want their situation to be brought to the for national and international attention. Right? Clearly, these guys are amazing. Clearly, the spilling of the water was well thought of. Why didn't you provide temporary camps for the people as shelter to contain them? You failed to do so. Now that the disaster had occurred, you are now going around saying that you are giving them relief agencies and you are giving relief items and what have you. VRA knew that people will be displaced. Did they put up any camp? When we met with the coordinating team in Sogakope, and that's sometimes what I find very disturbing of the media, the chief said that the situation in which they find themselves, they were pleading with the vice president to allow the people to move to the Sagleme housing scheme for the time being. Because this water will not recede in the next 6 months. And that when the water is no longer being spilled, it will become stagnant. And that is where the full ramification will appear.
It's actually currently stagnant.
Right. So clearly, no action has been taken. You have that place, it is for the state. That place, as I've said, will become a 5-star hotel to the people, given the current conditions that they find themselves in. Yeah. Why is government not doing anything about it? You have more than 50,000 people displaced. Government response is only to 6,000 of them. You have gone around more than 50,000 displaced.
We have about 30,000 and above.
That is what you have reported. I have gone to the chiefs. Let me give you a chief that you can contact. The chief of New Bakpa is Toby Kofi Tosu. He said, and some of your media houses captured, that they have in excess of 50,000 people displaced. New Bakpa. Not only in New Bakpa, he's talking about generally, that they have over 50,000 people displaced. Government response is just 6,000. NADMO is inadequately resourced. So when VRA comes to tell us that they are going to liaise with NADMO that their budget has not been released by the Ministry of Finance, what are they going to do in this crisis? So it is on the face value of all these things that I said that President Akufo-Addo, in his partisanship, is putting more difficulty on the lives of the people that have been afflicted by the deliberate action of the government, because VRA cannot just get up willy-nilly and say that we are going to spill water, knowing the full ramification to the state without the knowledge of President Akufo-Addo, without the knowledge of the National Security Minister and all. What have they done in response to the situation?
Bernard, I can tell you're very passionate about this matter, as all Ghanaians are. But like I said, I'm hoping that this conversation would encourage people to see the need to assist and donate and bring in items.
If the president, for instance, declared a state of national emergency,
do you know that bilateral partners
it will increase support for the people?
Yes.
Why is the president not doing so? Okay. Why are they not acquiescing to the people's demand that they should move to Sagleme housing?
Okay.
Why is it that they
I'm sure Pius has answers for us when he speaks, but I'll have Malik speak first.
Okay, now Pius will start. Oh,
Malik, why are you attempting to produce our
I
show
started
today?
First, you went second, went third. Now you have started. You should go there and come back. You know,
I think I owe you a certain last word.
Yes, I'll come
So
back.
a certain last word. So I want you to talk and then I'll come back to you. You don't want the last word that I'm offering you. Pius.
That's the time. I
Pius.
started first. I should come in. Why? Today, I don't know why you're allowing Pius to take a center stage on the show.
Are we? Interestingly, Pius feels the same way about you.
I'm not aware that.
Pius.
Nah,
Which
To
of
the
the
best-
areas did
to
you
the
visit?
best of my knowledge, you are still in charge of this show. I shall accord you the needed respect and cooperation.
Which areas did you
And-
visit?
And I think that, again, let me commend all media houses, and I want to commend TV3 for the yeoman's job that you are doing, attempting to galvanize the people of Ghana at a time of need. This is a national disaster, and a disaster it is. We must refrain from this desperate and shameless attempt to score political points. It smacks of sadist tendencies. We want to take advantage of the sufferings of the people in the name of politics.
What
And
do
not
you mean
just
by
politics, in the name of just wanting to get into political office.
I don't understand.
I'm saying that it is a shame. You were distracted for a moment, so you didn't pay attention.
What did you say?
I said that I commend TV3
Yes, we heard
for
that bit.
attempting to galvanize the people of Ghana, irrespective of their faith, irrespective of their politics, to galvanize us as a people. Because you understand that together we stand in this important moment of grief of our brothers and sisters. But what I find, for want of better expression, quite irresponsible, if you ask me, is an attempt to score political points
By
to
who?
the extent that comments are made.
If there is a political game, there must be political points to be scored.
Bernard, please stop
To
talking.
the extent that on national television, the suggestion can be made that the president is deliberately putting the people affected through this distress. The president caused the rains to fall. The president caused the Bagre Dam to be spilled. The president caused the high tides in the ocean that are preventing the regular flow of the Volta River into the sea. The
Because of
president
your
caused all
level
that.
of interjection,
Bernard.
you did not understand that it
Bernard.
is the actions and pronouncement of the president
Bernard
and the
Mona.
vice president who would go
Bernard Mona.
to the
Can you please
affected people's
deactivate
place.
Bernard's microphone for me, please?
How can
when
they
you,
take it
when
from
you
me?
were talking, we
I
kept
thought that
quiet.
it was good, so I wanted to give him a taste of what he was doing. I assured him.
It's not good, and it's distracting us from
Thank
having
you.
a smooth
And
conversation.
I
Next time
noticed,
he should.
Pius.
and I noticed now, from time to time when I made interjections, my microphone was off, and you made that point. Bernard's
Yes.
microphone is still on.
It's off now. Go
So
on.
we should be consistent.
Go on, Pius.
So I am saying that all these ones, the president caused the rains to fall. The high tides in the ocean, the president caused it. Sometimes we make mockery of ourselves on national television when we get this desperate and we get this low. It's surprising. I want to commend the people for their steadfastness. It's a difficult moment without doubt.
Where did you visit when you were?
I visited the Sojaman constituency and district.
What did you see
I've
when
been
you
to
went?
Kudikope, I've been to Sedom, I've been to
What were your
Abume, I've been to
observations?
Beji, I've been to Chichokope.
What were your
Look, the
observations?
people of a Sojaman, and I'm sure the people of the other districts are suffering. Houses have been pulled down.
I'm glad you mentioned houses. There have been calls for the government to consider relocating the displaced people to Saglame.
I'll come to that in a bit.
It's one of the key points that we'd like to talk about.
Now, I will
you
come
you
to
saw
it.
that the houses were
I've
submerged.
seen, I just said it to you.
All right.
I've seen that the businesses of people, fish farmers,
Are destroyed.
people who had cages on the river, doing their legitimate business of fishing, the tides, the current, the heavy flow of the water has washed all those ashore. People cannot feed. And as a responsible government, the government moved in immediately. As we speak to you, an interministerial coordinating unit has been put up, headed by the Chief of Staff. NADMO is always on the ground. The Navy is on the ground. Military is on the ground. The VRA has just put aside 20 million emergency, unbudgeted, put it at the disposal of the people. $40 million has been redirected from the Ministry of Finance to mitigate the sufferings of the people in terms of their agricultural outputs. This is a natural disaster. Really? It is. You are not aware. You don't know. It's a natural disaster. So your understanding of the whole concept is the beginning of your problem. The understanding of the problem is your problem.
Now we heard about the monies. The monies that have been disbursed. But
the monies could have been released before.
Bernard,
do you understand the concept of a disaster?
Bernard,
Bernard, please don't. This is national television. This is national television.
We cannot hear him on TV. So
yeah, but this is national television.
But Pius,
you stand the risk of embarrassing yourself. People are watching.
The monies
discerning people are watching.
Bernard, Mona.
You wanted it to be Sojaman.
Can you please, Bernard?
You speak.
You wanted it to be Sojaman TV.
You speak.
This is national TV, and of course, it cannot be Sojaman TV.
So you are done. No. Can I go now?
Pius.
When you go and you go wrong, I'll come back.
Pius, the monies that have been disbursed, can you tell us exactly what these monies are being used for?
For relief. Relief.
What sort of relief?
All forms, like what you're doing now, provision of food,
but
provision
when you went to the on ground, did you, you appreciated the problem as it was?
Yes.
Did you see the relief items or relief supports that this, for example, 20 million that has been released has been used for?
Well, it's work in progress. At the time, I visited way earlier.
Before the money came?
I'm not sure whether before or after, but the point I'm making is that the distribution of relief items is an ongoing process.
Yes.
Yesterday, we all saw on national television, we saw in the news, the volumes of donations and relief items that were distributed to the regional coordinating houses.
Yes.
And the regional coordinating houses will use the district assemblies to distribute them.
But we
have seen the distribution of relief items in some of the worst hit areas like Mepe and
yes.
Co. So indeed, I have seen on the ground for myself.
I'll tell you what.
And personally, I've also been distributing relief items.
Well done.
And that is why I commend TV3 for wanting to galvanize us. Because you see, to take the attitude that only the government should resolve these challenges can be a little problematic.
And that's why everybody is helping. But the most basic need of the people right now, in my opinion, aside getting clean water, is housing. A lot of them are settled in classrooms, and it's been over a week now. It's over 2 weeks now, actually.
Without windows.
And they are in classrooms which are not made for residential purposes. They are not boarding houses. They are day schools. Some of them do not have windows. I visited about 100 women and children, women with children, on Sunday alone. And even those housed in tents are so hot that they cannot be in the tents because the tents are plastic and they literally have to be outside all day. We appreciate the tents, however. But if we have housing which is not inhabited, it's empty, and there have been calls from literally anyone who can call on the government to relocate these people who have been hit by this crisis, which I think, and many people think, could have been prevented, okay? Why is the government not relocating them? Why are we giving them relief items to continue to stay in the classroom? Are we planning, do you know of any plan to maybe build houses there for them? Or why are we not hearing anything about a relocation?
Now, this is an emergency response. Mm-hmm. There are short-term interventions, there are mid-term interventions, and there are long-term interventions. Mm-hmm. What you're describing, I get the sense that there may be mid-term and probably into the long term.
Are you saying it is, or you get a sense that it is?
I have advocated that in the long term, provisions be made for the people who have been physically displaced in terms of the collapse of their buildings. And I know that these are matters that are being seriously interrogated. But these are emergency responses. So things will take due course in due time.
In about how much
and
time?
And so you are even now collecting dresses for people who are naked, half naked. And Bernard says, and I agree with him, through no fault of theirs. So at this point, we are solving the most pressing needs. And I'm saying that those midterm interventions are well and in place. They are called for. I agree they are called for. But they will come at their right time. Calls are being made.
Piles, in terms of priority, where will you put housing in this situation?
No. I think that if you put me on the spot that way, in terms of priority, it becomes difficult. In terms of priority, water may be more of a bigger priority today. Okay, even a place of convenience.
Where will you put housing?
No, in terms where will I put it in terms of what
in
is
terms of, because
if you ask me where I will put it, I'll put it after water. I'll put it after clothing. I'll put it after food.
The more pressing needs, you said,
yes,
the more pressing needs are being met, like clothing and
yes,
so on.
And I said that there are midterm interventions.
But when you give people clothes to sleep in a malaria-infested classroom or a mosquito-infested classroom, I beg your pardon, then isn't that still a challenge?
No, it is. And that is why nobody has said that we have resolved the matter. So, and that's why I spoke about short to mid-term to long-term.
Can you, as you sit here now, give us any idea of a timeline?
No, I cannot. It's not.
For us to expect.
No, I cannot.
Because that's one of the biggest calls we are getting.
Cannot.
You cannot. Okay.
I cannot.
All right, let's listen to Malik now. Let's listen to Malik now.
But you see that, unfortunately, I am unable to make the point about the levels of government response. We drove away from that.
Oh, you've spoken about the interministerial committee that has been set up.
No.
And you
allowed
you have more to add.
Chief to do what he did, you started your Q&A.
I did not allow him. You gave him a microphone.
No, you did.
You gave him a microphone
his mic was still on, and so on.
I'll give you 1 minute to wrap up.
But I'm saying that it is not right.
What is not right?
That comments like that of my brother and friend Bernard Mona be entertained. Again, the politicization did not start even from Bernard. You put on, I stand with Mepe. You did that because of the initial attempt, and I commend my brother Okudzeto for being responsive. And I want the other MPs in the affected areas to also amplify their problems as much as Okudzeto Ablakwa is behaving. I am advised, and I believe same to be true, that the VRA even organized a simulation exercise in Esojaman, for instance.
They did.
Stakeholders were invited. The member of parliament who was elected by the people of Esojaman was invited to the simulation exercise. He can also play a part in the public advocacy, but he failed to turn up at the simulation. The NDC member of parliament for Esojaman, he failed to turn up. Now we are crying after the facts. And I'm saying that we are all being led in this manner because of the unfortunate politicization of this matter. People have even suggested that VRA spilled the dam deliberately. People have misconstrued the president's comment when he reassured the people of the Volta region that irrespective of your political leaning, once you are in this dire problem, count on me, I will not turn my back on you. I believe that the president ought to actually be commended for assuring the people of the Volta region that he is blind to partisan politics, that whether they are NDC or not, he doesn't care.
So you think that comment was relevant?
I am saying to you.
You think it was a relevant comment at that time?
You don't feel that it's relevant?
I am asking you
the president,
if you believe that comment was relevant at that time.
I am suggesting to you now that I am comforted by the reassuring words of the president to my brothers in the Volta region that he is blind to what their political ideology is, and that whether they voted for NDC or NPP, CPP or UGCC, he doesn't care. He will respond to them at the point of their need. I am comforted by that. So, you are not. Now I'm asking you now. You are not. You are not comforted.
I find your position interesting.
No, I'm asking you now. Are you not comforted?
Listen to me.
I am very comforted. When I listened to the president, I said, yes, that's my man. Thank God for a leader like this. Because we had similar situations.
Calm down.
And we were told that, oh,
calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
Mr. Mahama told us that.
Listen, people's homes have been completely submerged. Their lives have changed, maybe forever.
Yes.
And the president was not able to visit as early as they would have liked. Eventually, he was able to visit, perhaps as soon as he could. We can appreciate that. And when he visited,
he assured them.
one of the comments he made
was to assure
whether
them.
he meant it to be in good faith or not, he said
He
that
assured them.
well, he did not mind that even though they didn't vote for him,
He will respond.
he is here to
And you don't
respond.
find that reassuring?
Now, that was a point of concern. Was
Yes.
it very concerning?
No, but
because
I'm asking you,
because, listen,
are you not reassured?
Listen, Pius.
I was.
Because in times of difficulty,
Yes.
perhaps what people need
It's
is
reassurance.
it's
You're
not-
right. Say,
it's
use the
not-
word. Now use the word.
It's not to point
Don't
out
play to
what
the
their
gallery. Use the
political
word.
leanings
Speak
are.
from your heart now.
In
At the
times
point of grief, people need
difficulty,
reassurance.
You need to keep quiet and let me talk. In times of difficulty, people probably do not need to be pointed out what their political leanings are. What they want to hear is how they are going to get help in a time when they're suffering a disaster that they do not deserve, that they didn't ask for, and it's not political at all. I don't think that anyone at that time was thinking, oh, who did I vote for? And does it matter who I voted for at
That
this
is
time?
not correct. Now that is not correct.
Perhaps
No.
what
You
people
got it
need-
wrong.
No.
Before the president made that comment, I listened to the NDC member of parliament for that area make the allegation that the government will not respond because you didn't vote for the government. I heard it.
Do you
So it was
believe that was a
important.
necessary comment also?
But what you didn't comment, you didn't condemn that.
Do you-
So
no,
it was
because you're
important.
talking about the
It was important that the president reassured them. So for me, when you have an MP make the allegation that the president will not respond to you,
So it was a response to the
I am
MP's
saying that
allegation.
whether it was a response or not, in the context that the president spoke, it was reassuring to the people, and that's why when you listen to the Queen Mother of the place, she said that she was reassured by the president's comment.
Okay.
The Queen Mother said that.
So it was a reassuring.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think the president ought to be commended for reassuring the people of the Volta that he stands with them, whether
Okay.
they voted for him or not.
Okay. Okay. I see. Thank you for the explanation. I'll read some comments and then I'll listen. We'll listen to Helga. I beg your pardon, Malik. Helga sent a message saying that Pius is still on TV and he's lying through his teeth. How will 40 million, how will people utilize the 40 million when flood waters have not receded? Let us be careful with our utterances, and that's from Helga, who's concerned about how we are going to use this money when the water is not receding. I believe the money is supposed to bring relief and support to the people and not to recede the water. But thank you, Helga. We appreciate your comment. Malik.
Now, you see, he spoke for 16 minutes on record, and I wish you put that across. You have celebrated Christmas for Pius. Because you see, when the aged hear any discussion around dry bones, they get jittery and they get tensed. And no matter no matter the extent they will go to stop that discussion, they will. But it's important that you see, one, I want Pius to understand that in corruption exposés, we have mere perception, we have inductive reasoning, and we have deductive reasoning. These are three principles I want to put across. One, perception, like he cited in President Mohammed's case. It's when I sit here and say WikiLeaks said Akufo-Addo is a weed smoker. And by that saying, I go to town and say, yes, he is a weed smoker. You cited the Atamils instance. I sit here and I say, WikiLeaks says Mr. Akufo-Addo killed or had a hand in his friend's death, and that was how come he married Rebecca. That is perception. That is WikiLeaks expose. If I want to sit here for us to discuss that matter, we'll discuss Mr. Akufo-Addo being a weed smoker. We'll discuss he having a hand in his friend's death to marry his wife. But that is not the discussion. The discussion has to do with the fact that you are a walking colossus of corruption, and you turned yourself into a Goro boy. You turned yourself into a connection man. You took over 200 people to Australia. You thought because you had beaten the immigration in Ghana, the Australian authorities will allow them to cross. They deported over 200 people in your name, in the name of journalists. When they asked one of the people he did connection for, that, do you know what is a recorder? What is a microphone? The person was standing there, opened their mouth and was looking at them. So they realized that the whole deputy minister like you at the time had reduced yourself into a connection man. An investigation was done in the matter.
No,
yes?
I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to respond. I cannot
Why
sit
you
here
jittery?
for these
Why you
kinds
jittery?
of ignorance
Why will you be
to be
jittery?
spilled out. No, I'm not going to take it.
When you were talking,
no,
Malik,
you are jittery.
You protect me.
When
No,
you
I'm
were
not going to
talking,
take it.
Malik,
I'm not going to take it.
You think talk is
When
cheap?
you were
Kasai
talking,
and
Malik,
Frama.
I'm not going to
So
take
you
it.
say anything and you get away with it.
You had to put. You had
We
to put
will
into
talk
strict
about
proof.
this.
Malik.
Because
I
I
will
cannot sit
discuss
here
this.
and discuss
Over my dead body, should I avoid this conversation?
That Mahama is
If you are working
I cannot take that.
colossus of
You sit
corruption,
here to say
you don't want me to tell you that your face. You are crying.
I cannot
You
take
are
that.
crying.
I cannot
You
take
want
that.
to cry.
I cannot.
You want to cry today. You want to cry. Your eyes are red.
All right.
Your eyes are red.
We are going to have to end
Before we speak of your corruption.
Can we please turn off
Corrupt
this
practices.
microphone?
How you are working
Can we turn
colossus
off
of
Pius'
corruption.
microphone?
You are jittery.
When
Please.
you were talking, everybody
I
was
must go
quiet.
on with this conversation. I must.
go
It's
on.
important.
Go on.
Now, an investigation was conducted. Yes, the president went to your Congress at Koforidia, stood on the stage and said, Pius, the connection man, the Goro boy, is cleared. Allow him to resume office. Have you seen the reports of the CID? Tell me, you are here, you are a media person. From where? From your packet? A report that was cleared at the presidency because you sent over 200 people in connection to
Pius,
Australia.
Please,
Look,
please
can you
keep
stop
quiet.
this guy?
Please
Can
keep
you
quiet.
stop this guy?
Please
Can
keep
you
quiet.
stop this
Please
guy?
keep quiet.
Can you stop this guy?
Please keep-
Can you
please
stop this
keep
guy? You sat here and you spoke about Ford. You said President Mahama took Ford. The Ford today is being used by the military. They put a machine gun on it. It was given to the embassy. And you sit there and want to talk about corruption. Why? What is our offense? Your own appointees came out and said your president Akufo-Addo is the mother serpent of corruption.
Malik,
He
we are
takes
talking
bondos in his
about the
hands.
flood.
They said Alhaji Baumia is a Goro boy to the extent that before you sit by him, you need to pay
Is this
200,000.
a flat conversation?
And you,
And when we accuse you,
I'll land on this. I'll land on this. All I want to say in this
Let's
matter,
talk about the flood
all I want to say in this matter
Let's talk about
is
the
that
flood.
today,
You corrupt people
by
talking about
virtue of the
corruption.
fact that
You
Mr.
come and tell
Akufo-Addo
them
has
lies.
cleared you,
Let's
and
talk about
yes,
the
I will
flood.
talk.
But I'm cleared.
I'm
I'll
landing.
be cleared because I'm
But
not corrupt.
can you
like
talk to
Mr.
this
Mahama.
guy? Did you
I'm
stop
not
this
as
indecent
corrupt as
behavior?
Mahama, so
What kind of
I'll be
misbehavior
Can we-
is this?
can we turn off Pius'
You are a
microphone?
Goro boy. You
I
do
will be
connection to
cleared.
send 200
All right,
people
well,
to Australia,
that's the end of
and you want to
the
spoil the show,
That's the end of
and you are
the
crying
segment.
today.
They're watching
Oh,
everything
you are a
you
corrupt
do.
man.
Sorry
You are a
about
Goro
the
boy
event.
and a corruption
I'm
boy.
not corrupt about
You
the
sent
flood.
200 people
And it
to
appears my sound team cannot turn off the microphones for some reason. So we're ending the segment now. We're ending the segment now because I clearly cannot bring all of you under control. Let's talk about the flood issues and nothing more. Can we, if we cannot turn off his microphone, I'm sorry, but we're ending the segment. That's it. Thank you for watching Big Issues. When we come back, we are going to continue our collection of the relief items for the floods. And you're watching TV3 New Day. Please stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Mommy.
Meshosi. Fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Choco Toothpaste. healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Chocolate Toothpaste, Sankofa.
Yenchi, Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
On the 25th of November 2023, the Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries West Africa Mega Region 1 Ghana will hold the 2023 Interdenominational Ministers Deliverance and Open Heaven Conference by 7 a.m. Dr. D.K. Olukoya, the General Overseer of the Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries, will be presiding over this meeting live at the Accra International Conference Center, Accra, Ghana. The Interdenominational Ministers Deliverance and Open Heaven Conference, Accra, Ghana 2023. For registration and how to be a part of this meeting, please visit www.mfnghanamagaregion.org/register or use the details on the screen. Don't miss this first of its kind International Ministers Conference in Accra, Ghana. Jesus is
It is well with you.
Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries. Surely the Lord is here.
Are you ready? The biggest bonus ever! Promotion with cool prizes and many other bonus offers. Support 24/7. 1xBet gives you more. Use promo code to get your biggest bonus.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Played responsibly, not for persons below 18 years. Gambling can be addictive.
Feel adrift as you transition into a new stage of your life. The future seems like a blank space until you discover the passion within. The canvas of the future is yours to paint. Welcome to a world of opportunities. Heritage Christian College, offering world-class university education, training compassionate entrepreneurial leaders.
When controversies arise, when there is trending news, when the hard talk must be done. My name is AJ Akwakosapo, and your TV and radio princess. Consider me the lady with all the juice. If it's trending, I've got you. Join me on The Trend every Friday live on TV3 as we discuss all the trending topics for the week with my in-studio guests. We're very interactive, so follow the conversation on our YouTube channel, get interactive on Twitter, and use the hashtag TheTrendsGH. The Trends, the biggest conversations on social media. Join me and my guests every Friday and share your opinion, your thoughts, and of course, Get interactive every Friday live on TV3.
The Trend shows every Friday at 5 p.m. only on TV3. We are Fast in News, Best in Entertainment. TV3, your #1 station, as part of activities marking our anniversary month, brings you an unforgettable experience this October. Dubbed October to Remember. This October, TV3 brings you a wide range of exciting programs to spice up your viewing experience. I love you! Watch out for exciting new series, gripping talk shows, heated political talk shows, riveting drama series, and much more. The TV3 Anniversary Month, giving you an exciting viewing experience with a broad array of exciting content this October, only on TV3. Fast in News, Best in Entertainment.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, has scaled up its commitment to ensuring improved access to treatment for teachers battling cancer. Together with the Sweden Ghana Medical Center, SGMC, NAT provides teachers and members on pension with free cancer treatment.
Effective this particular year, when you retire and unfortunately something like this thing happens to you, the center will take care of it.
And on top, the Ghana National Association of Teachers also seeks better conditions of service for members in hard-to-reach communities, as well as aiding better access to the professional development of members.
Apart from the professional courses, we are going to have programs for our members, that members will be moving to Abankro to have a field and also get continual professional development from the institute.
Learn more on TV3. Make a date with NAT-R every Wednesday at 5:45 p.m. and Sundays at 1:30 p.m. NAT-R, hope for the Ghanaian teacher.
NAT-R shows Wednesdays at 5:45 p.m. and on Sundays at 1:30 p.m. on TV3.
Mac Brown's Kitchen. Mac Brown's Kitchen.
I'm ready to send me to Mac Brown's Kitchen. Brown. New season, new stations. Hey, Mara. Hey, Mac Brown's Kitchen. Oh, Nana, who want TV so I check? I knew who you check, but then I'm here. And Chakrano. But TV3. Mimi Devia. 5 to 6 p.m. Nana, you better watch it. Minimum, my better Sesako, Ghana Fodo. That's it.
McBrown's Kitchen shows this and every Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3.
They say home is where
Eliza, are you sleeping on the job, girlfriend?
I was dreaming. I woke up to this nightmare.
Alyssa, an 18-year-old, runs away from home to escape the abuse and harassment of her stepfather.
Come any closer and I will cut you.
For a hope of a better life in the city and to pursue her dream of becoming a supermodel.
Hold on, wait a second. You're very pretty.
She soon finds out that achieving her dream will be a lot harder than she ever imagined. She gets caught up in a web of two men after her heart, a street vendor who believes in her dream and another who's making her dream happen.
You must be the famous Carolina Castillo.
How are you, dear? This is Lily, my beloved wife.
Watch the story unfold in Total Dreamer, a captivating, intriguing, and thrilling drama. Total Dreamer, showing Monday to Thursday at 8 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
MTN DES range of products.
It wasn't always this easy. When I was 26, I got my first chance to perform a surgery.
Can I have a selfie? Thank you so much.
So I was holding the scalpel. My hands were trembling.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I have your autograph, please? Sorry, sir.
Yes, go on.
Well then, as soon as the senior surgeon entered the OT, Yes, Dr. Matur. I'll be there in 30 minutes. It's an important surgery. Rain check?
Sure.
They are in love, but will they be able to adjust?
Eternal Love shows Tuesdays to Fridays at 6 p.m. only on TV3.
Brought to you by Out Multipurpose Insecticide Spray and Quell.
Get ready to witness the most dramatic kitchen battle ever. Drama in the kitchen where rivalries simmer, egos sizzle, and only one rival can claim victory. Two rivals, spatulas in hand, egos on the line. It's not just about the food, it's about the drama. Can they put their differences aside to create the most loving meal, or will the heat of the kitchen prove too much to handle? Are you a wife or a husband? Are you a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Can you cook with your partner's ex in a bid to see whose meal tastes better? Or can you compete with your mother-in-law or father-in-law in the kitchen? Then this is the show for you. On Drama in the Kitchen, you get into the kitchen with your partner's ex or in-law and prove that you own his or her taste buds. So much drama and love in one kitchen. Be part of the Drama in the Kitchen experience by sharing your details via WhatsApp on 027-722-2641. Stay tuned for Drama in the Kitchen, coming soon to TV3.
Well, again, we have to say that for our theme, we're standing with the affected victims of the Akosombo Dam spillage. And again, we have to tell you that it's not only the lower end of the communities that have been affected, but also across many districts in Ghana. And so we'll apprise you of many of them as it is. And again, let me just tell you how we have some of these communities who have greatly been lined up. And we kept telling you about how a number of them are also up north. And then so we have the eastern region having Afram Plains South District, Afram Plains North District. The Suchari is also just down here. We have Greater Accra, Adan East and Adan West. We also have for the Volta region, South Dying, North Tong, Central Tong, and then we also have North Dying as well. Boli District also has communities affected. Pandai District in the northern region. In the Bono East region, we have Sena East District, Sena West District, and Pro East. Already I've seen a number of the members of parliament trying to rally support because they can't do this alone. And as part of the whole relief effort, standing with the victims of the affected communities, we are also adding a bit. In the western region, we have Bia East, Bia West. It tells you the tributaries of the Volta River are just vast as we have. One of the key affected constituencies, communities in that constituency is North Dying. I have the Member of Parliament right here with us and also coming to highlight what to better collaborate, where you can also send your relief, especially within the constituency. And Joyce Tete is here. Joycelyn Tete. Good morning to you, Joycelyn.
Good morning, Roland.
How many communities in your constituency have been affected generally?
Okay, as of yesterday, we have 12 communities that have been affected by the induced VRA disaster. Yes.
And can you just mention a couple of them for me?
We have so Novda is made up of 9 traditional areas, and then 7 out of the 9 have communities that are flooded. We have Apate, we have Usuta, we have Sabadu, we have Vakpo, Angeta, we have Choho, we have Botokutonu, like almost all the communities that are close to the river.
Have they been inundated like we see at the lower end from Isujamain right through to the Anglon side? Through, are they the same?
They are the same effect. We have buildings submerged in this water. We have refuse dams. We have places of convenience. And then the water, this same water is what they are drinking. And it's just green, like the water has turned into green.
As the effort has started, and you also noticed that the water had inundated the communities. What had been some of your own efforts you've been doing within the period?
Okay, so in some of the communities, we have the water taking over their potable drinking water. That's the boreholes in their community. So I called on some NGOs As of yesterday, I am in partnership with BKQ Foundation that is providing a mechanized borehole for one of the communities in my constituency. So we are trying to get potable water, drinking water for them. It's so devastating seeing that this water is contaminated and that's what the people are still drinking from. So that's what we are doing. And apart from the relief items sent by the former president, I've also made available some other items that continuously we are supporting them to restore hope back into their lives.
Now, because this is a constant issue, I mean, the water is stagnant in the communities. Yes. It also means there are concerns, just like we've noticed across all the communities, of a public health crisis, and then they will constantly be needing relief supplies.
Exactly.
If, let's say, there are supplies or relief items that should come in, and we are doing the appeal, Media General and 3 Foundation, in the constituency, where should they go to?
In the constituency, we have a contact number. I am stationed there 24/7. We have a team that is receiving the relief items and all. So we can just put the number out there, and then we'll arrange on how to deliver.
What's the number if you try? Okay, so at the end of the day, if we want to say there are specific needs of the communities, what have you itemized to be the needs of the community?
Okay. Apart from the food items, we've also realized that most of them are being hit by waterborne diseases. So we are asking for people to come and do health screening in some of these communities. And then they are also saying that they want to move a bit far from the river because the water is still coming up. So if we get roofing sheets, then they can just fell trees and then roof it and then
do some makeshift structures.
Exactly.
There have been concerns in some of the communities that we've not had every time the assistance from the state agencies like National Disaster Management Organization, etc. Have they been intensive on the ground alongside the military like we've seen in some of those?
No, I have not seen anybody coming from NADMO or VRA or wherever. It's just been me, the member of parliament. No other person has been to my constituency. No, not any that I know of.
You mean across the various communities you mentioned?
Nobody has been to anywhere. It's just me always being with them. Yeah.
That is problematic, is it not?
It is. It is. And then it's unfortunate. Today I read online that the Deputy Minister for Information said they have sent people to test the waters to see if it's okay for them to stay there or they could relocate them. And I'm surprised that a woman and a mother for that sake could make such a comment. We have these rivers that have taken over people's homes, places of convenience, refuse dams, and all. When you get to some of these communities, you'll not be able to drink water again. Like the place is so smelly, it's so devastating, and the people are still drinking from the same water. It's not like we are exaggerating, we are making stories up to gain anything from anybody. So it's surprising that the Deputy Minister for Information can say that they have now sent people, this same money they have used to fuel and then tax those people to go and test the waters. I'm sure we don't need anyone to tell us that the place is not habitable for the people at this moment for them to live in.
But is it not true that for communities like yours, you are up the dam?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not in direct
downstream.
Yeah. Okay, so for engineering purposes, how are you greatly affected as a result of the spilling? Okay,
so apart from the heavy downpours that have we've experienced, the delay in spilling has really is the major cause of the flooding because it's the same Volta, the river Volta, it's the same river Volta. So the moment it's flooded in the downstream, it just trickles down to wherever. It's the same river that's surrounding all of us in the Volta region. It's not like separated in any way. Yeah.
So the effect is always the same.
The effect is always the same.
It's spilled and the effect is more downstream, it's also upstream. And I see you that just like many of the communities we've been to, you also had to use a lot of the canoes.
Yes.
How were you able to mobilize that for that to be possible?
Okay, so we used some of the canoes that belongs to some of the fisher folks in the community. We asked them to bring them on board and I fueled them. So anybody who comes around and wants to use the canoe, we just maybe give something small to the canoe owners and then they take us around. Yeah.
So it means that you need more canoes?
We do, like life jackets. We need canoes, we need life jackets, we need medicine for the people. And then everything that anybody has to donate at this particular moment, the people will be very grateful.
So, do you think that the media has been overly emphasizing on the downstream people after the upstream people?
Yeah, it looks that way. And then I think the reason is because it started from the downstream. The attention is on the downstream. Yes, exactly.
But if you compare the two pictures, those downstream have been more affected than yours.
Have been more affected, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because the water levels are up their roofs.
Exactly.
Some are even inundated.
Exactly.
Now, how has this affected the livelihoods of the people? Because I know they are fisher folk and some are farmers.
Yes. So, Roland, I even have videos of some of them complaining or pleading with the government to come to their aid. And then originally, we are already struggling to have 3 square meals a day. People only depend on their peasant farming, and then this flooding has taken over everything. So you could just see that there is nothing going on in those communities. The kids are not going to school. The people are not working. They are hungry. They are just seated there. So it's really affected the livelihoods of the people. Yeah.
Would you say then that the calls for a national emergency to be declared are apt, and why?